Good afternoon, esteemed viewers and followers, wherever you might be getting our signals from. This is Fine TV Gambia, your only viewpoint. And of course, it is a return of your weekly program, Current Affairs, here on Fine TV Gambia. And with me here today is the Speaker of the University of the Gambia, legislative body, and of course, the clerk of the LB of UDGSU. So, the topic of discussion today would be centered on the field Congress, 2024, that was held last week, Wednesday. So with me here is this young lady, and of course, Mr. Ma So, and of course, we have Madam, or should I say Ms. Yama Mbai, who is the speaker, and of course, the clerk of the LB. So it's a pleasure, Yama and Maha, to have you here on our platform to discuss issues of interest to all students of UDG. So you are welcome to Fine TV Gambia, and it's a pleasure to have you here today, Yama and Maha. So basically, to start with, I will start with Yama as the speaker of the LB. Take us through the mandate of the LB at the University of the Gambia.
Thank you, Mr. May. Just like you put it through, which is the mandate of the legislative body under the constitution of UTGSU, which is the LB has to hear and then determine the following, which is under section 30, subsection 1, subsection 1A to I. The LB has the power to hold Congress, which is the current affairs. We should be the one to chair and hold the Congress, basically, and also conduct an activity report whereby the president will come and read his activity report for that particular semester. And also the legislative body have the power to scrutinize and approve any budget or things that are with concern of the students, basically. So for now, that is what we have as the mandate of the legislative body.
Thank you, Ms. Mbai, for that, brief, regarding the mandate of the LB at UTG. Now to Mr. Ma So, the clerk of the UTGSU, LB. So, Ma, we've learned that last week, Wednesday, was the Congress, but the Congress, could not, end because there was a fracas, a serious altercation that emerged, while the Congress was going on. So, take us through, this Congress on that day.
All right. Good afternoon, wonderful viewers. Thank you so much, Mr. Mbai, for having us today. It's very important to talk about issues that are of great concern to our student body. And then last Wednesday, we have seen unforeseen circumstances that happened, which was with regards to the Congress. That's the second ordinary Congress. And there were certain individuals who were not really agreeing to what was really happening with regards to the Congress. And basically, that's how things erupted. Because when we started the Congress, things were going smooth, even though during the time of the activity report was being read, some students were trying to create some mayhem. And then what was done by the LB to calm them down, that is the speaker, and even I myself, that was on the chair, I tried to hold the mic to calm them down in order for them to allow the activity report to be read as well. But still, when people have differences, they always try to cause issues. And so what we did was we tried by all means to calm them down. That is when the activity report was read. And immediately after when the activity report was read, we went for prayers. And when we come back, it was the time for adoption. And then during the time for adoption, some students were not liking the way things were going. And then they still had to create a problem. But still, we had no problems with that, because at some point, when it's like they almost all agreed when we went forward. Now, when we went forward to the next agenda, now to read the financial auditor report, is where the problem arises. And that's where certain students went close to the deputy finance minister that was reading the report, and then they said no to it. And that's how things erupted, and we had no security. We tried by all means to calm them down, but it was not possible. That's why it was adjourned.
Thank you, Ma. Now to the speaker. What do you think really went wrong? That even led to this fracas on that day.
Yes, thank you, Mr. May. Just like my clerk have put it through, these students have their reasons of having such, and then it is not our pleasure as a legislative body to have such Congress, organizing such Congress, and for it to fail, basically. So basically, we were not able to have security guards, like he said, and then like students at some point, they will not be able to control them. And then as the Congress delegates, it is their right at some point to do questions and answers and try to scrutinize and hold their leaders accountable for them to be satisfied on what have been done, basically. So unfortunately, the Congress was failed due to some questions and reasons that the Congress delegates were asking, but then unfortunately they could not come into common terms or agree to what should have been done. That's why that chaos happened, basically.
So I've also learned that, last week, Tuesday, there was, a financial statement or an auditor statement that was, released by the SU regarding like the progress that they have made, towards, uplifting the account of UDGSU. So hence it's stated that, or report said that they have almost over 2 million, in account. So being the LB, why have you not, consulted, the main union to ensure that you have, security, a tight security that will ensure that, that fracas on that day could have been mitigated if there was, security. What went wrong and why was the LB not, able to bring in these security men to ensure that the place was well secured to avoid such, circumstances?
The constitution have been there, and it have been clear to the students that the legislative body will be the one to chair the Congress. But this is the first time in history for the legislative body to conduct Congress. So there was no backup knowledge, or based on experience, we have no experience that such will happen because we have never hosted a Congress on our own. Because normally, over the years, it was the president that normally chair the Congress. But like you said, we were not expecting this. And this is the first time also to have a Congress after election. Normally, Congress takes place before election. But because of the powers and then the recommendations or resolutions which states in section 44, subsection 1, that the legislative body has power to do such, then we came up with this recommendation and we passed a resolution that we want to have the Congress after election, basically. So because of lack of experience, that there have been never been a fight in Congress. That's why we are not thinking that we need security guard on this ground. But we have learned our lesson. More Congress or the next Congress coming, we're gonna have such to prevent chaos.
But some argue that for this year's Congress, a week before the Congress, the Auditor General resigned. So after this act, rumors were all over that he is not going. The time the LB brought him back, rumors was all out that he is not going to read out this report. And then some argue that some student made it very clear he is not going to read out the report. If he's going to, that would be fracas. So like, was this not up to the notice of the LB at that time?
Just like I said earlier on, the legislative body can send a recommendation or resolution to the executive. And it was at our level that we are students' representative. LB consists of 12 individuals that come from different schools. So each individual went back to their school, did a question and answer, or do a survey and asked the students if really you want the auditor to come back. And then majority of the students said yes, because there were questions being raised. And then to take you back, the auditor did not resign 1 week before Congress. He resigned earlier than that.
But some say the report, or like the dispatch was said a week before the Congress. So I think from there, students would say that that is the time he resigned, because that was the time it was officially declared that he resigned.
You are right.
Yeah. So you've also mentioned like the LB comprised of 12 students who are from different schools. So each member there went back to their schools to question to. Okay, no problem. I have to go back to our school to question people regarding the matter. So, like, are you certain that this was done to all schools?
I want to come in, and there are certain things that Yama said, which is right, though there might have been an oversight along the line. With regards to a resolution that has been passed, recommendations and then resolutions that should be passed by the LB should be respected, and then we should go by that. So there was the resolution we passed, that is for the Congress to be done after elections. This was not just from the LB. Based on the Auditor General in the last Congress, he believed that it is always best that we have congresses after election, so that we can easily hold our leaders to account. And this is why the LB went through the resolution. Now, going to the next thing, I think probably is an oversight on the speaker, that is with regards to us calling back the auditor. What happened was, when we saw a dispatch that was sent, which none of the students were happy about. We were having late night meetings. In fact, it was an online meeting because we could not sit. We could not have a sitting. So then, out of 12 members of the executive of the LB, well, every person, you are there for your people. You understand the point? And this is where basically we came up with that recommendation. We even have beefs among LB members. Some are saying that no, we have to go in for the committee members. Others were saying no, we have to go in for the current auditor. Others were saying no, we have to call the Auditor General because it's true that the Executive Council failed, the 25th Executive Council failed to announce his resignation earlier. But we also convened for a meeting just the next day with the Auditor General. And the Auditor General made it very clear to us that he resigned on the 23rd of December. And I think we are all aware that their tenure ended on the 3rd of December. But due to certain legal matters that were happening within the University of the Gambia as well, one cannot blame the 25th Executive Council at that point for the prolongation. Because that time they were on JT and EC as well, and then that's why the prolongation happened. So then we deemed it necessary that since this one was there almost up to the end of tenure, because they were supposed to be done by 3rd December, and then like from 3rd to 23rd December, he resigned. So why not we bring him? Because we were also expecting that any member that we bring from the audit committee or whatsoever, students might say that we don't recognize him. He's not the one we voted for. You understand the point? So we believe that it was necessary to bring back that auditor whom we believe that can be able to audit because he was there for that period of time.
Was that lawful, bringing him back?
Yeah, to me, it was lawful, and to us, it was lawful in the sense that, as he said, the LB has the right. The LB has the right in section 30, sub 1D. It says that any urgent, any contentious or urgent matter that is affecting the student's body can be heard by the LB. And therefore, we believe that this is something that is very, very important. We cannot have a Congress without audit. That's impossible because we need it to be, to be transparent. And this is why we said, okay, since this is what is to happen, there's a section that we can always put up to, which is section 44 sub 1, which said any resolution or recommendation. The LB has the right to bring in resolutions or recommendations. And anyone that is brought forward, it should be accepted by the executive and all its affiliates. So therefore,
so meaning any individual that's brought by the LB, hence that's what they recommend must be accepted, even if it is unlawful. Because the point of the Auditor General, he has resigned and he has collected his attestation according to students.
Sure.
So when this happened, he is no more a bona fide student of UTG.
Sure.
So bringing that audited, Auditor General back, that is unlawful.
Thank you. Yes.
So and then that acts from the LB. I think the LB is relying on their part that they have the right to recommend, and any recommendation that they give must be respected.
Sure.
But I think this must be in accordance to the laws.
I think it's always important that we always go back to the drawing board. I think maybe we will go to that later when the LB had dialogues and all those things have been discussed later. You understand the point? So the LB believes that this is the best thing that is going to be at the best interest of students. And the funniest part was when the LB passes a solution, majority of students of the University of the Gambia commended the LB for passing the resolution of bringing back the auditor. I think this will be clear. We can go back to records. We've seen parties commending the LB for bringing back the auditor. So basically means
so they have commended.
They have
and
commended.
at the Congress, students were saying that they are not going to.
Good. I think we go back to records. I don't want to be because it's very, very simple that our names have been stained and everything. And anybody that knows me very well, we share a lot of things in common. Anybody that sees my status, I don't go in for coalition or alliance. But the point is, it's very, very factual. I will not mention any party here, but a party commended the LB for that bold step. Means what the LB did was right. You understand the point? And the Executive Council have nothing to do, but because of its resolution, they also agreed to what the LB said. So basically, to me, I wasn't expecting this coming in any ways.
Okay, now we'll stop at that and then moving down to Yama. Yama, now students who have accused your LB of not being impartial. What is your take on that?
Mr. May, just like I mentioned earlier, LB, we are representatives of different schools. So how do you expect us to be biased? Because we do not even know one another. We just come and met there. I think these things are just rumors in a sense that as a leader, you must accept these kind of things, basically. So if at all I act another way, another party will always say, we say that I am biased at some point. So these things are things that we will swallow in. But to be honest, LB is not biased. There is more to it, fine. LB is not biased. We have different camps, different student leaders representing them. And when we are doing things, we don't do things at our may or based on our thinking. We always reference from the constitution or go back to the students, talk to them and ask them what they want, because we are there for the students. So how can we be biased at some point?
So, I mean, are you agreeing with Maha that, I mean, I will still go back to what Maha said, that, I mean, any resolution passed by the LB, I mean, regarding issues of students' interest must be respected, even if it's unlawful. Are you agree with Maha on that?
I didn't say
Okay, but no, yeah, you can clear. We are on discussion. But what I'm saying is, like, for the issue of the Auditor General, that was unlawful. He is no more a student, and then the LB knows that he is not a student. So bringing him back was unlawful. So, I mean, but the point that that defend yourself here is that you, as LB, you have, the right to recommend any resolution when that is to the individual student. So in this case,
yes.
That resolution was not.
I think I'll come back to that,
okay,
because we are on TV and then everything has to be clear. With regards to talking about bringing back the Auditor General, yes, some argue that it is unlawful. And then we will respect from any basis that they have it for, because it is clear in the Constitution that anybody that resigns no more becomes a member of the Students' Union and cannot do anything with regards to the students. But where we base it at also was the Auditor General do not have any deputy. You know, today the Deputy Finance Minister can read the Auditor Financial Report. Deputy SGs in recent years have been reading the activity report, and Deputy Finance Ministers have been reading that. You understand the point? So basically, Auditor has no deputy. And what we were doing was, we were in fact thinking of bringing a committee member. But as I said earlier, like, we were like, maybe the general student body will not be happy about this, because we are 12 and the LB, what we do is the most democratic part. The LB, they vote, and the ayes, when the ayes have it, that means the majority of the students are saying yes to it. So the ayes have it that we have to bring in the Auditor General, because any other member that we bring can bring in so many issues with regards to questions and everything. And this is why we believe that we can bring him. But I am not saying that a resolution that we bring that is unlawful, a recommendation that we bring that is unlawful, can be challenged by students. And I think students have all rights to challenge it, but there are ways to challenge. We are talking about law. We are not saying that you have to come and fight. My friend, you don't have to be writing people's names and be, saying bad things about them. Go through the right channel. When you go through the right channel, the LP can be summoned. Or any member that has done that can be summoned. And then anything that should be done to the individual will be done to him. But I am not saying that. I think it should be clear. I'm not saying that anything that is unlawful, we should pass it as a resolution.
Okay, but do you agree that act from the LB to bring in, that resign Auditor General was unlawful?
It was unlawful.
Clear. We move on, Maha. Now, to the financial report, which is one of the issues, according to students, that led to the fracas on that day. Some argue. So, but now, before that, what is your take on the financial report, or what does the laws say about the financial report?
Yes, that is also very simple. It's in the Constitution, which states that the audited financial report should be sent 72 hours, before Congress, which was very important. But the same thing as to why that was not sent, it was because of the short duration that we had to call back the Auditor General, who should audit the financial statement. So as he was auditing, because I think we just sent it 5 to 6 days, which he has to continue with all the few days, because he resigned in December 23rd. Okay, and since then we know that the Executive Council has been here, not based on what they want, but based on certain legal matters. So within that short period of time, we wanted a proper audit for him to do it. You understand? And then at that time, within 72 hours, it could not be sent, because I could remember it was sent to me. The group chat it was sent around 5 o'clock. Yes, around 5, and then that was the time that it was sent to the LB as well, just before the Congress. So therefore, it was not sent within 72 hours. But the LB believed that this was the reason as to why. And then this is the first time some funny situations are happening. An auditor's resignation to be echoed just few days prior to Congress, and therefore these things can be expected.
So hence you are saying that the time that was given to the Auditor General to audit the account of the issue was so short. So, I mean, considering that the law said it should be, the official offense report should be released at least 3 days of working working days before Congress. So, knowing that it's a constitutional, I mean, requirement, why, I mean, don't the LB, I mean, try to extend the day, at least, let's say, by 2 weeks, to allow the auditor to do the right thing, and of course, to follow the due process
I think
of law.
there also should be, the auditor has been doing his work from the start of their tenure up to December 3rd, up to December 23rd. So what he was auditing was not from the beginning, because he had to audit from 23rd that he resigned up to the time of the Congress. And also, why we don't want it to give a long prolongation at all times is students have argued that the current council, the current executive council, has spent a lot of time in office. And we asked the auditor, like, how long can we give you? In fact, this thing, how to call it, the duration he wanted to give us would have been like a little bit long, because he was considering that to send it that day, and then after that 72 hours, after 72 hours it will be sent. But we were insisting that the students want Congress, and you resign, and we have to bring you back. So therefore, what you have to do is to give us a proper auditing, which he said he will consult his committee and then do it. And then he promised us the day before the day it was sent was the day that he will be done. And therefore, this is why we went through on that resolution in order to have the audited financial report, because if there's no audited financial report, we believe that students cannot respect that Congress. And this is why we presented them the audited financial report through the executive.
So council. After this agreement with the auditor, I mean, does the LB produce any dispatch to, I mean, show students that this is agreement and this is the reason, I mean, why, I mean, this statement was released, I mean, hours before Wednesday?
No, there was no dispatch after that. The only dispatch that was sent, that was prior to Congress, was a dispatch with regards to us bringing, which was a dispatch with regards to us bringing back the Auditor General. So when we were also looking at the reaction of students with regards to that, and I told you that it's like majority of students of the University of the Gambia commended the auditor coming back. So this is why I think that there would have been, like he's saying, I was never insinuating that there will come a time that they will still argue on that 72 hours. You understand the point? But constitutionally, as you are highlighting, it should be said 72 hours. But due to the resolution we passed, which have never happened in the University of the Gambia, for an auditor to resign or to be impeached or whatsoever, and then we have no other person to come. This is why we believe that Congress is necessary, because it's in the Constitution that Congress should be held. And as far as Congress should be held, all the things that are necessary for Congress should be brought forward. And therefore, this is why we thought that the Auditor General should come back. And then when he come back, he have to give the audited report. And we were not really considering the 3 days period that it should be sent.
So one could say the LB failed in that function simply because there was an agreement that they made with the auditor, and they failed to, I mean, make this public to the students to know this is the, I mean, thing that is why this audited financial statement was released, I mean, hours before Wednesday. It might be another case if you have, I mean, released, I mean, a dispatch explaining the reason why, I mean, this, I mean, statement was not this earlier on. So, I mean, in fact, students went to the Congress without having proper, according to students, they said they didn't have proper time to go over the entire report. So, which made it very difficult for them to be able to question or to hold, I mean, their leaders to account. So, the LB has failed, I mean, from my perspective, for not, I mean, producing a dispatch explaining that there was an agreement that we made with the auditor regarding this issue, and that is why it delayed to be sent, I mean, to the students. So, do you think the LB does not fail in that aspect?
Yes, like the failure at some point, saying the LB have failed, that I wouldn't agree to, in the sense that the LB is just there for the general well-being of students, as we always say. It is true that a dispatch could have been sent to explain a reason, but also it is also very true that the LB sent a dispatch with regards to the auditor, and the moment bringing back the auditor, as some people argued that it is unlawful to bring back the auditor, and we were commended for that. I believe that also we were never hoping that if it is not sent within 72 hours as well, students also
not what you are not hoping, but what is right.
Yeah, no, I agree, but like the failed part is what I'm trying to still defend, that it is not a failure on the part of the LB. Probably, like, the LB could have done better.
So now, who is to be blamed regarding students coming out at the Congress saying that, I mean, this final statement would not be read because, I mean, it was not sent 72 hours before, I mean, Congress. Who is to be blamed now? Are you blaming the current or the incumbent SU, we are blaming the LB. Which one now?
I'm not blaming any of the two. I'm
So,
not blaming
are
any
you
of the
blaming
two.
students now?
Because the point is, even the general student body, we are here for the general student body. I believe that it is very, very important that whenever we come to certain dialogues, we try to establish certain issues. What happened is an unforeseen circumstance, and all these things, all parties that are involved, both students, the LB, also does the students, the LB, and the 21st Executive Council could be blamed. The bigger part of the blame would come from the LB, those that passed the resolution with regards to that, and they pass it, yes, and they pass it based on the general well-being of students, which they believe, which I think when we go further in this discussion,
was there any consultation with the students regarding the resolution that you take? So hence, you are representing people. It's important that you consult people when taking your decisions, right? So taking a decision with the auditor, was that done by consulting schools, or just done by the LB 12?
Okay. I want to delve into that. You know, with regards to the LB, in fact, for one to be an LB member, that should be clear how somebody become an LB member. For you to be an LB member, a letter will be sent from the executive for them to send one person to be an LB member. Like, there's no name that the executive council will mention. And there, your executive, that is, every school faculty base have an executive. That executive will choose one person, and that person that they choose should be nominated by 30 individuals within the school. And that person will be sent to LB. So that person that is sent to LB, he is there as the mouthpiece or the one that is representing that entire faculty base. So we believe when urgent issues come, I could remember at the absolute majority and the simple majority, when the bill came for us to amend the absolute majority to simple majority, I personally and almost all LB members did that because they were all assigned to do it. To go back to their schools. With my school, that is the Northern Department, I went back to every class. What I did was I give class reps to write names of individuals that agree to this. And then most of them agreed to the simple majority. And when I came, this was my agreement. So when urgent issues came, because this came within a short period of time, because I think it was just announced a few days before the Congress. And we believe that to bring back the auditor, we need to do urgent matters. And no, like, I personally did not inform my school of anything with regards to this, so because I am representing my school with regards to that matter.
So will you agree that you've misrepresented your people in that aspect?
I've not, for my school they agreed with me, so I've not misrepresented my school.
How have you gained this, like they have agreed with you?
Yes, because the point is...
Because according to you, that you have not consulted them on the issue because it was urgent.
Good.
Yeah, so so are you perceiving that, or you are just trying to foresee that they have agreed with your that particular concept?
I'm not perceiving that. It's because I am representing them, and I know exactly what my school wants. So with regards to the Auditor General coming back, what we did was we debated on this as LB members, and what happened was we were able to come to a conclusion that the auditor has to come back. And then none of the students in my school never disregarded that thing that I've said, that thing that I've debated on, and then I've voted in for, because, you know, I cannot say that I voted for aye or I voted for no, but the majority has the ayes. And then even if I voted for no, I would have go in for what the majority of the LB members voted for.
In that case, you would have stand to be no. Despite the fact that majority have agreed, you would have stayed. Despite the fact that you don't know would not be in place. But personally, you've represented your people to an extent that you disagree.
No, I said no. What I meant is, I said at the LB level, we voted. Some voted for no, and some voted for aye. I said I will not tell you whether I voted for aye or I voted for no, because this was at the LB level.
Then, you understand the point? Then Maha is not, honest to the people that he's representing. You should bold enough.
No. I told you, my people. When I told them exactly what the LB has done, the majority of them that I've communicated with, they had no problems with exactly what the LB has done.
No problem.
You understand the point? Yes, I think that's very easy.
Yeah. So Yama, what do you have to say about that resolution passed by the LB to the with the Auditor General for him to come, and of course he will not be able to send the financial statement 72 hours before Congress.
Okay, let me just go back to what you told or asked Maha, that it will not be fair for Maha to misrepresent his people. In LB, we are members, we are team, despite we representing our various schools. But when some people vote for no, we cannot go outside and say we vote for no. Because when the majority says yes, it means that I that said no will have to say yes. Because it's the majority in the LB members. So even if I or Maha said no in this resolution, but here's the majority has it, that say yes, the auditors will come back, then we have to respect their decisions and go to the people and tell them we said yes as LB members that the auditor will come back. I hope you understand that point.
I understand.
So taking it to the 72 hours that you were saying, that the reports would be sent 3 days before Congress. Remember, the resignation letter was out 1 week before Congress, meaning Congress was already scheduled before the letter was out.
Who is to be blamed now? That's the question. That's the question. Who is to be blamed? If, the auditor resigned a week before Congress, are you blaming the LB or you blaming
the auditor?
He resigned.
The auditor's dispatch,
The
resignation was sent.
A week.
Like, yes.
And that was
the auditor
official.
did not resign, yes.
And that was
The auditor
official.
did not resign at that time, as we said. We are not defending here the auditor, but because we had a meeting with him. You know, I'm not telling you other people that resigned.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with him and he told us when he resigned. So the dispatch that was sent with regards to his resignation was from the executive council, which was late before they announced it.
And that's
but
what
the executive could have, the executive could have sent it earlier than that. You understand the point? But the auditor did not resign at that particular time that they said the auditor resigned.
Ibrahima, this 1 week of the auditor resigning, we have been moving the Congress from Wednesday to Saturday, still to make the time according to the Constitution. But we realize that after election, after 14 days, the executive should hand over.
Absolutely.
If not, they become rebels. So looking at that 2 weeks for us to conduct the Congress, having the handed over or award night ceremony, we could not exceed more than 10 days. And even unfortunately, that's what happened. That is what is happening. What is happening because the executive stayed there more than 14 days. And still we are trying to put our house in order just to have a successful Congress.
Yeah, so now, just to cut it short, you've agreed that that act of the auditor sending the report a day before Congress was unlawful.
That's true.
We move on. Now, Yama, let's talk about the adoption of reports. What does the, UDSU constitution say about the adoption of reports?
Okay, section 62, which talks about Congress, basically. And then it's true that there should be simple majority, which is less than 50%. So what makes 50%? It can be, what makes less than 60% rather? It can, 50% rather. So it can be 10, it can be 20, it can be 30. Hence, it's less than 50%. So it's true that the simple majority should have the adaptation in order for the report to be absorbed by them. So I don't know where you head.
Yeah. But basically, if you mention like section 63, 62. I'm having a 63. Subsection 4 states that addition at the LB, at the Congress should be done or would be done based on simple majority. So in a nutshell, simple majority simply means that decision voting should be should put in place, and then those who have left, for example, if there is between two candidates, so the one with the highest number of votes is declared the winner. So I think that should be the system that should be put in place there. Hence, the word simple majority is concerned. They are not saying only two people to vote. Now let's put it together. If two people say yes and two people say no, how are you going to determine it now?
Yes, with regards to the simple majority thing, it's unfortunate that it happened that way. That is during the last Congress, but our our experience of Congresses that usually happen. I think this is the only time that all these legal issues are coming into Congress. But most of the time, even at the last Congress that we attended, this is how it is. Nobody was like saying it should be simple majority or it should be otherwise.
Have the students who are not?
Yes, and even certain students that are challenging. You know, it's funny. Certain students that are challenging this, some of them attended all these Congress that we are talking about. Most of them. But I think it is something that we're going to look into again. And then we will accord the students exactly what they want, especially as they stated, it is exactly in the Constitution. As you stated, that 63 sub 4, it is in the Constitution. That's a simple majority. And then I think it's always good that we go back and then, always redress things that happen. And basically, we are going to do just that, as they argued But this is how the formalities of Congresses that it has been done. It's only this time that I've seen where students argue that we must go in for simple majority. That's not going to that is going to happen obviously in the Congress that we are to hold on Wednesday. Inshallah.
So also to cut it short, that act by the LB allowing only 2 people to adopt those statements was unlawful.
You know, the term unlawful here.
No, but it is not in accordance to the law. So automatically, when something is not in accordance to the law, it is totally unlawful.
With regards to the adoptions of all these things, as it is stated, simple majority, it depends on how we calculate it. Basically, if assuming it is just 2 people that are contesting, let's say 2 or 3 people, 2 people that are contesting, that time we can say it must be like just absolute majority at a time. But if it is more than that are contesting for different things, that time it becomes simple majority. And simple majority can even mean 35% or 40% out of the people that are contesting or out of the things that are contested for. So basically, I wouldn't say that it was very unlawful for the LB to do. For the LB, what the LB did, they believe that it was the right thing. That is by accepting people to adopt only at the same time.
Only 2 individuals.
Yeah, because that's how the formalities were.
Like you said previously, that is how it used to be.
But that does not mean that is the right way.
I
think we have to establish this. I mean, people doing it, that does not mean is the right thing. So, but I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm not speaking based on from my own experience. I'm speaking based from what is on the laws of UDGSU. It is saying that, I mean, this at the Congress must be on what they call simple. And in governance, whenever you say simple majority, understand, people understand that means the one with highest number of votes. Sure. I mean, secures. I mean, the idea. So I think that does not mean the 2 individual or 3 individual. There should be general voting. Those in yes, you count. Those in no, you count. Then from there you determine. That's simple majority. That's right. So I think that act of the LB at that day, I mean, at the Congress, allowed only 2 people to adopt. I mean, these reports. I mean, was totally unlawful. I think you have to accept this. It was unlawful because it was not in line with the constitution of UDGSU. It is saying simple majority and 2 individuals cannot, I mean, fulfill, I mean, the same simple majority. I think that's a hard fact. We have to agree. Are we agreeing that it was unlawful? It was, in fact, this was in fact one of the reasons that, I mean, forced students to be otherwise, saying that this people, they know what is in there and still they are giving a blank eye to it. So, and I think we have to make it clear here. So it was that way.
That could be one of the reasons as to why it happened exactly. Students really disagreeing with what was going on next. You understand the point? The point wasn't only on the adoption. That was the point wasn't basically on the adoption. The students of the University of the Gambia, especially those that came to the Congress, certain individuals made it very clear, which the LB has at the time, because we were already during break time. It wasn't about the activity report. The basic thing as to why some of them rebelled against, or in fact said no to it, it was because of the audited financial report. The audited financial report was the major reason here. It was the major reason because we overheard students saying that audited financial report be like in Wolof, that didn't cover it. Yeah, I don't really understand the point. So basically, like saying that was the major reason, I would say it might have been one of the things that sparked it. Okay? But one of the reasons, it was already in the minds of students that said no to it prior to coming to the Congress. So that should be clear. I think that we should be
that's clear. But of course, the adoption was the issue that in fact spoiled everything. The adoption of the report. That was the time you have students from both camps, that's Alliance and Coalition, started arguing bitterly, and that altercation came up.
Yes. There it brought in issues. But I think after that, students calmed down. I think that should be clear. Students calmed down. I think students of the University of the Gambia, those that were at the LB, those that were at the Congress that day, what we did was we tried to calm them down. I personally took a mic. It's in the records. We calmed them down, and those that were arguing, they all sat down. Students sat down. I don't want to mention it. I went up to where they were standing, and I had to calm them down. They calmed down. And now we were going to the next one, which is the audited financial report. So they already accepted the adoption. That should be clear.
Are you saying, I mean,
that should be clear.
They have accepted the adoption?
Wonderful. Now let me come to that very clearly. I mean, when the first person was given to move the motion, as the person moved the motion, the one that wanted to second it is where the problem sparked. So here it was a problem. They were trying to argue and disagree. We told them that we are trying to adopt what has happened. Okay, that's the activity report. And then one of the members in the Congress seconded the motion. And we were like, we are continuing with what with the agenda. Students were still sitting down. That time there was no problem because the problem was that was already sparked, or we already calmed them down until they sat down. So anybody that sat down without consent, we believe that silence means consent at that particular time, even though they created mayhem. But they later sat down and then we were going on with the next activity, with the next thing in the agenda. Now, when the financial report was, when the audited financial report came in, is where now students jumped to come and say no to it. Even laptops were closed and everything happened. So that's why it happens. Basically.
Yeah, I agree to that. But the fact is, like, the LB, I mean, I will say this, because from what you said, gave a blind eye to the laws and then decided to move with what they think is right, because that's what you've seen, I mean, happen at various congresses, like two people out of it and we move on. So in which, I mean, there was no consultation, or there was no, I mean, you've not, I mean, put yourself in line with the laws, because the law is in simple majority, and that does not mean two people, I mean, should adopt. So I think, no, yeah, we have to make this very clear. I mean, two people out of 7,000 or students, who, I mean, can't adopt, I mean, a motion that is going to affect the entire student. So, I mean, in fact, let's be rational here. Does that even make sense? Allowing only two individuals to adopt a particular motion for people, for over 7,000 students. So I think the simple act could have been the simple majority. Now let everybody vote and let's pick, I mean, the majority out of, I mean, the rest. I think that should have been the simplest thing, Maha.
Yes, honorable Bai. I would say yes. Okay, Mr. Bai. Because if I say honorable, I'm talking to him. Yes, I would agree with you at that point, that we were supposed to go by the simple majority, and we did not go by the simple majority. But it should always be clear that we were all there for the well-being of the students in order to see what the students really want. And we've seen that individuals are ready to adopt it, even though some individuals say they are not going to adopt it at that particular time. So we could say it was an oversight from the LB for not going by the simple majority.
Absolutely, no problem with that. So we move on to the speaker herself, Madam Speaker. And then there was a press release that was issued by the SG of University of the Gambia Students Union, the incumbent. And then students believe, or students raised concern that that press release was, I mean, biased. It was centered on only one side. What was the stand of the, I mean, LB after, I mean, receiving or after seeing this particular press release from the SG?
The legislative body is independent and uniform, including both camps. So the SG, writing such press release, what we did was, as an LB member, we also wrote a dispatch, not mentioning any of the camps, but trying to show the assurance and try to calm the students that they should not be frustrated, because we are working hand in glove as members in order to remedy that. So the press release was at the executive level. We are all organs. So we cannot overlap or cross boundaries trying to tell them what they do, what they have to do at some point.
But there's check and balance.
Yes, that's true. But then the press release, for them, it's to try to, they did that in order to show the people that what they did during the Congress was wrong. Mentioning the names was wrong because we were all there and we know what happened, even though some names were mentioned whereby there were more individuals that needed to be in the press release. So having the names being mentioned in the release was wrong. I would agree on that, because as executive, we are not there for particular camp or whatever.
Absolutely.
And looking at the names of those that were mentioned in the press release came totally from a particular camp. And then that should not be the case. If there should have been a press release, should have been mentioned in each and every one, or none of them. So what we did as LB level was also to write a dispatch, sending it to the students' body to try to tell them that they do not need to be frustrated.
Absolutely, that is clear. So Yama, I mean, at this juncture, we are running out of time. Esteemed viewers, just to remind you once again, this is Fine TV Gambia, your only viewpoint. And of course, today we are having a fruitful or limited and insightful discussion here with the speaker of UTGSU, LB, and of course, the clerk. So, Madam Speaker, now at this juncture, what is the take of the LB, hence the last Congress on Wednesday field?
Well, I'll be so glad to talk about this part. because we have learned our mistakes. We have went back to the drawing board, and we will be rest assured, and we will promise the students that we will make sure there will be a successful Congress coming on Wednesday. Because like we said, this is the first time the LB is hosting a Congress. So we must learn from the mistakes that have been done. We had the dialogue with both the parties yesterday, the president-elect and the president of the 21st executive. So with dialogue, we were able to pin out the difference. We came to realize what caused the chaos last Congress, and we have agreed to common grounds, and we have come up with solutions now that each party will see themselves through the Congress, which is a good news that we will be successful come on Wednesday.
So what was the uniform decision that both camps agreed on yesterday?
Okay, the uniform decision that both camps agree was now the audited report will be read by Abdullahi Boja,
who is a committee member?
Who is a committee member of the audit committee.
So no more the Auditor General who has resigned, and no more ADG student to come and read out that report, right? Is that clear?
LB is for the students, and we saw what the students did, and then they have cried to us, and now we are considering them and doing what they want, that they do not want the previous auditor to come and read their report for them, and we will do just that.
Okay, so Madam Speaker, are we moving scratch from starting with the president coming out to give out his speech, and then we have the SG to give out the activity report? So are we starting from scratch, or we are starting from the adoption and moving on, or the financial statement? Where are you guys going to start?
We are going to start from the financial audited report. The Congress was adjourned, and we are not going back to the activity report. We will just start from where we stop and we move on. That's why this time around, we don't even need a quorum to start this Congress.
So now, are you saying that for the case of the adoption, are you going to maintain the two people adopting, or you are going to maintain simple majority? Yes, my one answer to that. So are you maintaining?
Okay, Yama highlighted something very, very important. That's Honorable Speaker. What he highlighted was we met the president-elect. I think we should forget about it, because I heard you saying that the two camps. I know it can mean different things, but some people that are listening, they might think that we are talking about camps here. We met the president-elect and the outgoing president.
Representing
but the president right now, no, he was not representing a camp the time we called him. I think this was very clear.
Okay.
So we call him as president-elect and also as outgoing president, because we know these people now, they are two more senior students that students, I believe, can listen to more. And we believe that having dialogue with these people, and when they go back and talk to their people, things will be addressed, and then we do what is necessary. And that time we asked them both, what is the problem? Let's know what the problem is. And one of the things that was highlighted very, very well was that we cannot allow the Auditor General to read our report. And the questions posed again was, okay, now whom do you guys want to read the auditor report? Because we still have a Congress. The Congress has to continue. And it was highlighted that since the Auditor General has this is not what the LB was saying, it was between the two of them. Since the Auditor General have committee members, we will be okay if the committee member read this. Both of them agreed to this. I don't know if you understand the point. So when this thing happened already, we said, okay, so this was the problem. So this is already tabled. Is there any other problem with regards to the Congress that you think was the problem with the Congress? But the only thing that was raised is the financial audited report was the problem. And if this is okay, we can allow one of the committee members to audit and then read the audit report. So basically, we came to a common ground, which there are other things that were discussed, which is not about the Congress with regards to prolongation and everything, which I think students should understand that the prolongation was done based on reasonable grounds. And as well, we had dialogue between. I think President-elect should be more hungry to take the seat. And in fact, he is very, very hungry to be there to work for the students. Yeah. But the point is, when we came, he knows, I respected him very well because he really accepted the dialogue. And there, even things that he did not wanted with regards to the prolongation and everything, he was able to tell us that, I'll agree based on the things that have been highlighted and everything. He respected the LB so much and also respected the outgoing president. And this is how we came to a conclusion that we are going to have a Congress. But when we have a Congress, we are continuing from where we stopped. And there was no other problem that was happening because at that time, it was LB members that were representing all schools as well as the president-elect that is there and the outgoing president as well. I think whatever we come to agree with at a particular time should be respected and accepted by all students.
So there was no issue of adoption discussed?
There was no issue of adoption discussed as per the dialogue we had. It wasn't yesterday, I think. It was by yesterday.
So what is your take on the adoption? Are you maintaining two individuals adopting on the simple majority?
No, we like as we continue this thing, how to call it, the Congress, before the Congress, as LB members, we will go back and then we will send a dispatch with regards to this. When we sit together and then discuss, have our settings, we are going to send a dispatch with regards to this, with regards to the simple majority also, in order for the continuation of the Congress. But for now, what we can say is we are continuing the Congress come Wednesday, inshallah.
Okay, absolutely. But to some extent, I presume that trying to do what is in line with the constitution would really help. To avoid fracas. Understand? Because one of the issues that was raised by students was that there is simple majority and two individuals cannot vote on behalf of other students. So this is just a recommendation to the LB, putting that into consideration to avoid another fracas. But to put things right. So Yama, coming to you finally, what message do you have? For the students of UTG, hence they await the continuation of the Congress on Wednesday.
They are University of the Gambia students. I, as the speaker, representing the legislative body, I'll be so honored if we have peace and stability on Wednesday for this Congress. It is so disgraceful from my end and my team and university at large to be seeing such thing. And I, as the speaker, the first Congress after election for such to be happening is not good. It's not a good reputation rather. And it is not a good legacy. I am not happy to be the first female speaker hosting the first Congress after election for it to be failed. So I just want them to be calm. We are here for them. Let them come during Congress and hold their leaders accountable. We don't need to fight. At the end of the day, either you fought or did not fight. We are UTG students, and when we go out, we should make sure that our integrity are preserved, and then our life will be so successful because there is always life after UTG. So fighting is not the solution at some point. Yes, we have been seeing Congress how it normally happen. There must be questions and answers, disagreeing and agreeing. But to what extent? We don't need to be hating one another. We don't need to be fighting to such extent. I personally will be so much ashamed of this if it happens again, basically.
Thank you, Yama. And then Tuma, what is your final message to the students of the University of the Gambia?
I would say thank you all viewers, and then to the students of the University of the Gambia, as the speaker just said, when we come to the Congress, let's try to bring in decorum within the Congress. And there's always something that I want to say. When it comes to Congress, I think at this time we should not focus on camps. What we have to focus on is we are students of the University of the Gambia. Whether you are coalition or you are alliance or you are even unionist or any other party, you are there to hold your leaders to account. Whether they are the people that you voted for or whatsoever, you are there to hold them to account. So let's forget about these party issues, because to me, I think that it's one of the major reasons which is causing a lot of problems. So the issue is we all have the right to belong to any party. But in as much as we are in any party that we want, when it comes to Congress, let's put everything aside and then try to hold our leaders to account. When we do this, we believe that we will have a very successful Congress. So therefore, peace and stability is what we really call for. And therefore, we have gone back to the drawing board, and everybody that respects President-elect Nyani Kamanjang and also respects President Kemo Conte, outgoing President Kemo Conte, and the legislative body, I believe that you are going to agree with the decisions that we have made, and then you will not set up any other ploy against this Congress that is going to happen, and we are going to have a very successful Congress. Thank you all.
Thank you, Miss Yama Ayambay, and of course, Honorable Maha M. Shaw, the clerk of the UTG SULB, and of course the speaker. So it was all pleasure hosting you here. And then we look forward to engaging you on subsequent issues to come. Issues regarding UTG is of course national interest. That is why we wasted none of our valuable time to invite you here and discuss on issues, because some students, as I speak, they're in limbo. They don't know what's going on, So coming here, try and talk to students on on what you've learned from from the previous Congress. I think it's quite important. And like they mentioned, Wednesday is the Congress. I think it's 11 a.m. right? So students are expected to be there to hold their leaders to account. Remember, according to students, that they are paying their student union due. So if you want to know how this due is spent, you have to be there and listen to what the reports that they present before you, and of course, ask question if the need arises. So the ultimate thing that they discuss is that peace and stability is key. The Congress cannot hold without peace. So in that regards, they have already, urged students to be to maintain peace to ensure that they have a successful Congress. Remember, after all, it is just UTG, and after UTG, there is life. So you don't have to be otherwise on things that would bring shame to, the UTG. Last time I was on Gambia, others posted videos which are not really, speaking well for the country's only, a university. So in that regards, I thank you all for joining us today, and we hope that you will join us next week on the theme, on the program titled Current Affairs. Will bring you issues of national interest is happening currently, and of course we will discuss the problems, not only the problems, but we'll give you solutions to those problems. Until then, I thank Yama and then Maha for honoring our invitation. And then Fine TV Gambia is proud, and of course we wish you best of luck in your continuation of your Congress come Wednesday. So viewers, thank you very much, and then see you next time. Bye bye.